Welcome back to Health Truth, the podcast where we cut through the noise and give you real solutions for better living. I'm your host, Dr. Michael Harrison, and today we're talking about something that affects millions of men, but nobody wants to discuss openly. Here's the shocking fact. By age 40, nearly 70% of men start experiencing fatigue, low energy, and performance issues. But here's what's even more shocking. Most of these problems can be fixed naturally, without expensive treatments or dangerous side effects. Today, I have an incredible guest who's been helping men reclaim their vitality for over 15 years. Dr. Sarah Williams is a functional medicine specialist who's discovered some amazing truths about men's health that the big pharmaceutical companies definitely don't want you to know. Dr. Williams, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Michael. I'm excited to share what I've learned with your audience.
Before we dive in, can you tell our listeners a bit about yourself and how you got into men's health?
Absolutely. I'm a functional medicine doctor, which means I focus on finding the root causes of health problems, rather than just treating symptoms. I got into men's health about 15 years ago when I noticed something disturbing in my practice. Men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s were coming to me feeling completely defeated. They tell me things like, "I'm not the man I used to be," or "I feel like I'm just surviving, not living." These weren't weak men. These were successful professionals, loving fathers, dedicated husbands. But they felt like shadows of their former selves.
That's heartbreaking. What did you discover was causing these issues?
What I found was that most of these men had been told their problems were just normal aging or that they needed expensive hormone therapies or medications. But when I dug deeper, I discovered that many of these issues were actually nutritional deficiencies and lifestyle factors that could be addressed naturally. The human body is incredibly resilient, Michael. It wants to heal and perform at its best. We just need to give it the right tools.
That's fascinating. Now, I know you've identified some specific natural solutions that have transformed your patients' lives. Can you walk us through what you've discovered?
Absolutely. Over the years, I found that there are 3 key areas that, when addressed properly, can completely transform a man's energy, confidence, and overall vitality. And surprisingly, the solutions aren't complicated or expensive. The first area is circulation. Most men don't realize that many of their performance issues, whether it's fatigue, brain fog, or intimate problems, stem from poor blood flow. When your circulation is compromised, every system in your body suffers.
That makes perfect sense. What's the natural solution you've found for circulation?
This might surprise you, but one of the most powerful circulation boosters is something you can find in any grocery store: pomegranate juice. Now, I'm not talking about those sugary cocktails. I mean pure 100% pomegranate juice. Let me tell you about one of my patients, James. He was 68 years old, successful businessman, but he came to me feeling completely exhausted. He couldn't concentrate at work, had no energy for activities he used to love, and his relationship with his wife was suffering. After running some tests, I discovered his circulation was severely compromised. I started him on 6 ounces of pure pomegranate juice every morning. Within 2 weeks, just 2 weeks, he came back to my office like a different person.
2 weeks, that's incredible. What exactly does pomegranate juice do for circulation?
Great question. Pomegranates are packed with compounds called polyphenols, particularly one called punicolagen. These compounds do 2 crucial things for your blood vessels. First, they fight what we call oxidative stress. Think of oxidative stress like rust forming inside your arteries. It damages the delicate lining of your blood vessels and makes it harder for blood to flow freely. Second, and this is the really exciting part, pomegranate compounds help your body produce more nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is like nature's blood vessel relaxer. It tells your arteries to open up and let blood flow freely.
So it's like giving your cardiovascular system a natural tune-up?
Exactly. And the research backs this up. There have been multiple clinical studies showing that men who drink pomegranate juice daily see significant improvements in blood flow and erectile function within just a few weeks.
That's amazing. Now, you mentioned there are 3 key areas. What's the second one?
The second area is hormone balance, specifically testosterone. Now, I know testosterone replacement therapy is a huge industry, but most men don't need synthetic hormones. They need to support their body's natural hormone production. Here's what most people don't understand. Testosterone isn't just about muscles and libido. It affects your energy levels, your mood, your confidence, your ability to build muscle, your mental clarity, and even your motivation in life.
Right, and testosterone naturally declines as men age, correct?
Yes, but here's the thing. That decline doesn't have to be dramatic or debilitating. Much of what we see isn't just aging, it's the result of stress, poor nutrition, and lifestyle factors that actively suppress testosterone production. Let me share another patient story. Michael was 58, a great guy, but he felt like he'd lost his edge. He told me, "Doctor, I just don't feel like a man anymore." He was tired all the time, had no motivation, and felt like he was just going through the motions in life.
I can imagine how frustrating that must have been for him.
It was devastating. But here's what changed everything for him. Avocados. I know it sounds simple, but hear me out. Avocados are loaded with monounsaturated fats, which are literally the building blocks your body uses to make testosterone. They also contain magnesium and zinc, two minerals that are essential for healthy hormone production. But here's the key. Avocados are also rich in vitamin B6, which helps lower cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone, and when it's elevated, it actively suppresses testosterone production.
So it's not just about boosting testosterone, but also reducing the things that suppress it.
Exactly. I had Michael eat half an avocado every day. Within a week, he noticed his energy improving. Within a month, he felt like himself again. His wife even commented that he seemed happier and more confident.
That's incredible. Now, what's the third area you focus on?
The third area is cellular energy. You know, Michael, a lot of men think fatigue is just part of getting older. But true fatigue, that bone-deep exhaustion that makes everything feel like a struggle, that's not normal at any age.
What causes that kind of fatigue?
Often it's because the cells in your body aren't getting the fuel they need to produce energy efficiently. Your body is like a high-performance car. It needs the right fuel to run properly. This is where the third food comes in, and it's probably the most surprising because it's so common. Bananas.
Bananas? Really?
I know, right? Most people think of bananas as just a convenient snack or something athletes eat to prevent cramps. But bananas are actually nutritional powerhouses for cellular energy. Let me tell you about Thomas, a 64-year-old retired teacher. He came to me saying he was tired all the time, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. He'd wake up already feeling drained. When I asked about his morning routine, he told me he usually skipped breakfast because he wasn't hungry. That was a red flag for me.
Why was that concerning?
Because your body, especially as you get older, needs a proper energy signal first thing in the morning. It's like starting a car on a cold day. You need to give it the right fuel to get all systems running smoothly. I had Thomas start eating a banana every morning, along with a small amount of healthy protein. The change was remarkable.
What specifically makes bananas so effective for energy?
Bananas are loaded with potassium, which is crucial for proper muscle and nerve function, but they also contain magnesium and vitamin B6, which work together to support energy production at the cellular level. Plus, bananas contain natural sugars that provide quick energy, but they're balanced with fiber and other nutrients that prevent energy crashes. They also contain tryptophan, which your body converts into serotonin. That's your feel-good hormone that helps regulate mood and stress.
So it's not just about physical energy, but mental and emotional energy too?
Exactly. Thomas told me that within a few days of starting this simple change, he felt steadier throughout the day. He wasn't crashing mid-morning anymore, and he felt more mentally clear and emotionally balanced.
This is fascinating. So we have pomegranate for circulation, avocado for hormone balance, and banana for cellular energy. Do you recommend your patients use these separately, or is there a specific way to combine them?
That's a great question, and it brings me to what I call the synergy principle. These three foods are powerful on their own, but when you combine them properly, the effects are amplified. I recommend what I call the Morning Vitality Protocol. It's simple, but incredibly effective.
Can you walk us through this protocol?
Absolutely. Here's what I have my patients do every morning. First, drink 6 ounces of pure pomegranate juice, not the cocktail versions with added sugar, pure pomegranate juice. This immediately starts working on your circulation. Then eat half an avocado. You can put it on toast, blend it into a smoothie, or just eat it plain with a little salt and pepper. Finally, eat a banana. You can eat it fresh or blend it into a smoothie with the avocado.
How long should someone do this protocol to see results?
Most of my patients start noticing improvements within the first week. Better energy, improved mood, better sleep. The circulation benefits usually become noticeable within 2 weeks. But here's the key. Consistency is everything. This isn't a quick fix or a temporary solution. It's about giving your body the consistent nutritional support it needs to function optimally.
That makes sense. Now, I'm sure some listeners are wondering, why these specific foods? Are there other natural alternatives?
Great question. While these 3 foods are my go-to recommendations because of their proven effectiveness and availability, the principles behind them can be applied more broadly. For circulation, you want foods rich in nitric oxide precursors and antioxidants. Dark berries, watermelon, and dark leafy greens can also be helpful. For hormone support, you want healthy fats and stress-reducing nutrients. Nuts, seeds, and fatty fish can also support hormone production. For cellular energy, you want foods that provide sustained energy and support mitochondrial function. Other fruits, whole grains, and foods rich in B vitamins can also be beneficial.
But you found this specific combination to be most effective.
Yes, and here's why. These 3 foods work together, synergistically. The pomegranate improves circulation, which means all the nutrients from the avocado and banana are delivered more effectively throughout your body. The healthy fats in the avocado help stabilize blood sugar, which means you get sustained energy from the banana without crashes. And the potassium in the banana works with the improved circulation from the pomegranate to support overall cardiovascular health.
That's brilliant. Now, I know some of our listeners might be thinking, this sounds too simple to work. What would you say to someone who's skeptical?
I understand the skepticism, Michael. We live in a world where we're told that if something isn't complicated or expensive, it can't be effective. But that's simply not true. The human body evolved over millions of years eating whole foods. Your body knows how to use these nutrients. It's literally designed to thrive on them. The problem is that our modern lifestyle, processed foods, chronic stress, sedentary behavior, has gotten us away from what our bodies actually need.
So this is really about getting back to basics.
Exactly. But here's what I want your listeners to understand. Simple doesn't mean weak. Some of the most powerful interventions in medicine are simple. I've seen men in their 60s and 70s transform their lives with these simple changes, not just their physical health, but their confidence, their relationships, their overall quality of life.
Can you share any specific success stories?
I have so many, but let me share one that really stands out. Robert was 72 when he first came to see me. He was a retired engineer, very analytical, very skeptical of anything that seemed too simple. He was struggling with fatigue, had no interest in activities he used to love, and his relationship with his wife was suffering. He'd been to multiple doctors and was taking several medications, but nothing was helping. I explained this protocol to him, and honestly, I could see the doubt in his eyes. But he was desperate, so he agreed to try it for 30 days.
What happened?
The transformation was remarkable. After just 2 weeks, he had more energy than he'd had in years. His mood improved dramatically. He started taking walks with his wife again, working on projects around the house, and engaging with his grandchildren. But here's the most touching part. His wife called me after about a month and said, "Doctor, you gave me my husband back."
That's incredible. And this was just for making these simple dietary changes?
That's the power of giving your body what it actually needs. Robert's body wasn't broken. It was just starved of the nutrients it needed to function properly.
This is such valuable information. Before we wrap up, are there any other tips or insights you'd like to share with our listeners?
Yes, I want to emphasize that this isn't about perfection. You don't have to completely overhaul your life overnight. Start with one change, maybe just adding the pomegranate juice to your morning routine. Once that becomes a habit, add the avocado, then the banana. Small, consistent changes are much more sustainable than dramatic overhauls. Also, I want men to understand that asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. If you're struggling with energy, mood, or performance issues, those are real problems that deserve attention. You don't have to just accept decline as inevitable.
That's such an important message. Dr. Williams, this has been absolutely fascinating. Where can our listeners learn more about your work?
They can find me at my website, and I'm also on social media sharing tips and success stories. But honestly, Michael, the most important thing is that they take action. Start with these 3 simple foods and see how they feel.
Perfect. And listeners, if you've found this information valuable, please share this episode with someone who might benefit from it. We're all in this together, and every man deserves to feel strong, energetic, and confident at any age. Dr. Sarah Williams, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
Thank you for having me, Michael. This was wonderful.
And to our listeners, remember, your best days don't have to be behind you. Sometimes the most powerful changes come from the simplest steps. Until next time, this is Dr. Michael Harrison reminding you to take care of your health because you're worth it.